How's it going, guys? It's Carlos, your host of the Just Fans podcast, and I'm here today joined by one of the greats, one of the goats, the great man himself, Bruce XCAL. How's it going, bud?
The greats according to who?
Oh no, your
You got to
audience.
build it up. I respect that. Thank you.
I'm billing you or whatnot. Straight from H Town, weighing in at. Let me see,
Last I checked,
100
158, I think.
158. There you go.
Maybe 161 after Thanksgiving and all that.
From parts unknown. There you go.
No,
Yeah, man.
definitely the dirty South.
Dirty South. There you go. Hey, man. Thanks for jumping on the show, man. I appreciate it. For man, this recap wrestling talk episode 8. I've done 8 episodes of wrestling talk, and I
You
mean,
tell
you've
me I've
done
been
2.
part of, I've been a part of
2.
25% of these, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
basically.
well.
There you
Yeah,
go.
well, that's how we know he's digging real deep.
Exactly. No, man. Listen, Survivor
Trenches.
Series, right? Survivor Series was actually. Did you expect it? First of all, did you expect it to be? I mean, I really enjoyed it. Did you expect it to be that good?
I thought it was pretty solid.
Mhm.
I
Based
think
on the card?
no, my big takeaway is that I think they're cutting down on their pay-per-view length. I don't know if you noticed because
Yeah. It was like what, 2.5?
traditionally like WWE pay-per-views can run like 3-4 hours,
Right.
and they cut it down to like I think the last two pay-per-views, Survivor Series, and I think before that was Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
Surprisingly short. It was like a Monday
Mhm.
Night Raw without well, I mean, it did have commercials, the
Yeah. Yeah.
merchandise and all that, but wrestling matches without commercials, right?
Right.
And it clocked in at under 3 hours the last two. So I wonder if that'll be a trend going forward.
I think so
Because
too. I mean, I
we
saw.
just recently watched the AEW Full Gear, and I mean we left before the main event was over,
Dude, it
and
was.
that was
Yeah.
clocking it at a 1 hour pre-show, and
Mhm.
then like a 3.5 4 hour pay-per-view. I mean, that's
Mhm.
a lot of wrestling to watch in one sitting.
It is. It was. We were. I mean, I think if we hadn't been like drinking beforehand, I don't think we would have stuck around for even much longer.
Oh, I mean,
uh.
I was cooked halfway through. I mean,
Yes.
it's like,
Yes.
all right, yeah, let me know if you need to pull over. I was like, no, I'm good, I'm
I'm
good.
good, bro. Bleh, throws up on the seat. Ugh.
Yeah,
No, speaking. Okay, so before I even head on to, I had forgotten about Full Gear because it wasn't such a memorable pay per view to begin with. Uh, Full
no,
Gear, dude. I think you and I talked about it on the way back. It felt like it was just kind of thrown together last minute, and whatever sticks, that's what we were kind of going with. It was. I didn't really see much that I really wanted to. I was excited. I'm a big Sky Blue fan, of course. I was excited for that match, but even then, I was kind of let down.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but like AEW in general, it's like they're about making the matches that
Right.
Tony Khan thinks people want to see, right? And
Hmm.
on paper it may not have been bad, but like I think like they're doing more pay-per-views in general, right? They're doing all the collaborations with New Japan, right? And then they had the Wembley show at All In, which kind of came out. I mean, they're supposed to only have 4 pay-per-views right per year,
Yeah.
which I think you should work in their favor because WWE does one every month, plus
Correct.
the random like Crown Jewel or whatever special they may have been held on tap for. Now
Hmm.
it's like I think with the addition of more pay-per-views that they're trying to do, that it's kind of screwed up the way he was doing things before.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. Is there like the MJA match was probably one that I did the one that I enjoyed, but other than that, I didn't really care for Full Gear. Um, and I just I feel like I mean, Samoa Joe. I like seeing Samoa Joe here and there, but dude, other than that, I didn't really care for Full Gear, dude. That's just how I felt about it.
No, I
Um,
mean, usually, with me, it's like, I'll end up liking like half the show, the other half is just sort of whatever. Like,
yeah, right.
when we watch this at a buddy's house or whatever, and
Hmm.
we'll just be, talking shit the whole time, and then,
Yeah.
usually at some point something catches our eyes, like, whoa, actually, this match is pretty good, and then we start
Hmm.
paying a little more attention. But that didn't. This is the first time it's happened with an AEW pay per view, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was not memorable. There was at least we can talk trash for a little while, but this
It
one
is
was like
memorable when they started drinking each other's blood. I
that.
think they
Yeah,
remember that.
exactly. Okay, so there was a lot of like online backfire regarding the whole blood drinking and the being what cowboy shit as he calls it. How did you like? Did you what did you think of it? Did you think something else to kind of add on to the AEW thing for people to get talking, or because that's what it felt like. It felt like it was just done so people could bring some publicity over to AEW. I didn't
Not
really care
very good
for it.
publicity, I'd say.
It
I mean,
wasn't.
that was it was a spectacle, and
Yeah.
I mean, since Hangman Page ended up losing, it's just like so the guy breaks into your house, supposedly suffocates your kid with a merchandise T-shirt, and he
Uh,
loses. Like
yeah.
if this leads to like a heel Adam Page, I mean that great, I guess, but it
Mhm.
seems an odd. I mean, I like Swerve. I mean,
Swerve
he's
was
nuts,
great.
but I don't
I
know how
saw
many
you
more
do
times
the
I can take him, like filming himself breaking the law and committing felonious acts.
right. No, after a
Like
while, it's just
that line
tired.
from The Wire. It's is you taking notes on a criminal conspiracy?
Dude, that's insane. But the thing I liked though, I saw you do the Nana dance.
Oh,
that was pretty
I was
interesting.
drunk at that point, so
Yeah, he was
I
hammered.
I only dance when I'm drunk. So,
Yeah.
I'm told there's
Uh,
footage. Let's keep that hidden.
yeah, we won't show that. Yeah. All right. So let's get into how do you call it? Survivor Series War
Yes, sir.
Games. Overall pay-per-view. I overall I graded it an A. I really did like it. Just for how the presentation. So first the women's match was amazing. I really actually enjoyed it a lot. Seeing Io Sky fall from the cage with a garbage can onto everybody else. Number one, I didn't see that coming. I'm like the whole time I saw her up there, like, okay, what is she doing? Because usually you're able to see what they're gonna do or whatever. But this one, I was
Sure.
like, she's holding it a little awkwardly. What's going to happen? And then oh, in my mind, I thought, is she really going to go inside of that thing and just launch herself? Sure enough, she did. Caught me off guard. I was like, that was a good little spot. That was a good spot for me. So I deeply enjoyed it. That was one of my favorite matches in Survivor Series. Where did you think about that one?
So the women's war game, I thought it was a solid match. My
Mhm.
only issue is I'm kind of over like the blatant like interference
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
it took Dakota Kai to latch the trash can onto the chain. Like I get that it's a no DQ thing by default, but why are you just allowed to like blatantly cheat like that in front of like the referees and the crowd and everyone? And I mean, if there was like literally no attempt to even be sneaky about it.
Yeah.
Like this is a trend in both major American companies, both AEW and WWE.
Mhm.
I mean, I could have lived without that, but I mean, the spectacle of it was pretty good. I mean, the women these days are nuts. They're straight up nuts.
Dude.
Right?
They're
And I don't
hardcore.
know if you talked about it, but that set of the Trish and Becky matches, I love those matches. And
Yes.
Trish Stratus being I mean, she's pushing 50 and she's getting suplexed off the top of the Hell in the Cell. And it's like, good lord, you didn't need to do that.
You already gave us your best years there, Trish. You don't need to be doing that. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I mean
exactly.
the women in the WWE, I mean, they're incredibly talented, and I mean, they're gamers. They go for it,
Yeah,
and you got to respect that on some level.
you do. Yeah, no, exactly. It was a fought out match. I really did enjoy it. I did like the spectacle of it, like you said. But to me, man, that Sky jumping in the trash can that did it for me on that match. I really
Yeah,
did
and then
enjoy
of
it.
course, Charlotte Flair's got to do
Charlotte Flair.
her Kurt Angle moonsault off the top of
Oh
the
yeah,
cage.
that's it's hilarious that you said that. As soon as she did that, I was like, Kurt Angle, Kurt Angle, Kurt
No,
Angle.
yeah, as soon as
Yeah,
it's like, oh, she's gonna do the Kurt Angle, and
Kurt
yeah,
Angle.
sure enough, she did.
Oh
So
yeah, she did. I did like that she executed it quite well. I'd like to say she did pretty good at it. So I enjoyed that one. But that to me was one of my favorite ones to watch.
right.
It was very entertaining. Uh, what did you think of the Intercontinental Championship match, The Miz versus Gunther?
So
Um,
I mean, I love Gunther. I think he's
Gunther, sorry.
fantastic. He's one of my like favorite top 3 guys to watch just wrestle
Mm-hmm.
period. Like if he wrestles, I got to see it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, having him kick out of like, he got low blowed, well, twice, but they played off one. Was like, oh, Miz went for the knee, and then low blow, skull crushing
Yeah.
finale, and he kicks out. It seemed a little much. I'm not against Gunther retaining, but
Right.
it's like you can get kicked in the balls, or you can take the finisher, but not both. I think.
Yeah, no, exactly. It was yeah, that one was a little but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, the little botch twice low blow or whatever that they did, and I love how Michael Cole played it out like, oh, he hit him the knee or whatever, and then or Corey Graves, I was like, yeah, we saw that, yeah, and then he goes for it again. I mean, that was pretty. I mean, I get it. It's a great little cover up, but yeah, I do agree with you. I do like the fact that Gunther's keeping that whole Intercontinental Championship thing going. He's great overall. Like I like him as a performer. I like him on the mic. Like
Well,
it
I
was
mean that this is the thing about the Miz seems to really bring out the best in people. Like when he's motivated on the
yeah.
stick, like that promo on the Monday Night Raw previous is, I don't
Mhm.
think you've been bullied enough. It was like, oh goddamn.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that. I was like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's a good line. Man, that's
it's a
cold
good
as
line.
shit.
It is. It's cold, but it fits the persona. It fits like it's definitely something that he would say, and so
Yeah,
definitely,
there's that
yeah,
element is like, yeah, everyone knows that he did get messed with a lot when he first was brought in because it's the MTV reality star. I think they might
yeah,
have even still did calling it the music
yeah,
television back then, but like
yeah,
that's how long. Like man, like hearing that out loud, Miz has been around a long time.
yeah.
But
No, yeah, he has. It's crazy how long he's been in there, and it almost doesn't seem like it. But yeah, he's
he
been.
apparently doesn't age. So
He doesn't age. He's like the Paul Rudd of like WWE. The
yeah,
dude doesn't age at all. Yeah. But yeah, that one was a good match. I liked it.
it was solid. I think the fin,
Solid,
like you could do one or the other. Like I'm not against Gunther retaining because I mean he's on a tear,
of
and
course.
but it's one or the other, not both.
Hmm. Not both. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree, 100%. All right, so this match I was actually looking forward to because you know how I feel about the lucha libre style,
Mhm.
this type of wrestling, and so is Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee. Uh, so I do like the fact that Santos is getting I guess like a little push or whatnot. I do like him as heel. I did like the week after he had quote unquote betrayed Rey Mysterio, he came
Oh
out
no, when he when
dressed
he's
up
when
like
when he was
dressed
saying
up
it
like
was like,
Scarface.
I hope you get an infection.
Yeah.
I hope they
I
have to
was like,
amputate. I was like, oh damn, all
I was
right.
like, dang, all
I
right,
was like,
just
no, all
wishful
right, no,
thinking, man.
there's some fire there. Him just being like,
There's something.
Rey
Yeah,
Mysterio's little buddy was, that there's a
yeah,
pretty low ceiling there. But wishing
yeah.
amputation upon like a legend like Rey Mysterio is like, yeah, all
Hey,
right, I could work with that.
Mysterio has lost an eye. I'm sure he can come back from that. Okay, we all saw it. He lost an eyeball. God, that was
Jeez, that
ridiculous.
was the
But
pandemic years, wasn't it? I
this
mean,
pandemic years, that was awful.
the dark year of modern wrestling.
Dark year of modern wrestling. I remember like you were never I think we watched that pay per view live. If I'm not mistaken, no, we didn't. No,
No,
because that's right, we weren't.
no,
That's
I
right, we
wasn't there
weren't
for that.
together. So I remember seeing like the replays of it, and then I remember we were like talking about it through text, like how big that eyeball was in the.
It was clearly a ping pong ball.
It's clearly a ping pong ball drawn in. I was like, all right, Ray. Yeah, that was interesting
Well,
to
I mean, we
watch.
gotta keep in mind, this is at like the tail end of like Vince McMahon being
Storyline.
clearly
Mm-hmm.
delusional and maniacal, and I mean, who knows what goes on in that head of his in 2023, right?
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take Rey Mysterio's eyeball off. Yeah, fans will
Yes.
believe it. Fans will believe it. Make me
Yeah,
money.
yeah. Rey Mysterio will gladly donate an eyeball and wear an eye patch in public for the rest of his life.
Yeah, which is no longer there apparently. So he must have gotten
Yeah.
an eyeball off of somebody. Yeah, came back. Did they ever really explain how his eyeball came back, or no? They just kind of forgot
I
about it.
think
Yeah,
that's just again, it's the dark
yeah.
year of
Dark
recent
here.
modern
It's
wrestling.
like we'll forget about it, just like we forgot about Kofi's Jamaican accent or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it Triple H who brought that up in like a random promo too? Is like, didn't you used
Yeah.
to be Jamaican?
like he catches them off guard or hey, weren't you supposed to be Jamaican?
that must be fun being son of the boss or son-in-law of the boss.
Right, breaking that fourth wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar match overall was fine. It was there were some parts that reminded me a little bit of the AEW style matches with the little backflips and the with the backflips. I like the backflip stuff, I do, but this was like you could tell that it was contained, like more in control as opposed to just kind of like okay, like I know how you guys have brought up Commander in AEW, how he kind of does some maneuvers where it's just like you're doing all that just to get one small like very small result, or whatever, all the show and just basically very anticlimactic or whatnot. This match overall, I thought it was pretty decent. It was good back and forth. It felt like it started off in what it seemed like a little like it was going to be a little bit of a botch, but they ended up saving it. But overall, it was a good little back and forth. It looked like Santos was dominating for a good part of it, and then Dragon Lee just kind of came back. He got some of the crowd chanting his name or whatnot, so it kind of got the crowd going and being engaged in the match. During the match, obviously there you got the announcers retelling the whole Rey Mysterio story and how this came to be, which is decent storytelling in case you haven't watched it or whatnot. But overall, I like the match and the story. I think that right now, in my opinion, I think WWE is, trying out the Santos Escobar persona, see how he does as a heel. I like the storyline that they have him in, so I'm intrigued to see how this storyline develops with Santos Escobar and as a heel or whatnot.
Sure. So just to double back just a little bit, like you
Sure.
mentioned, like Dragon Lee and Escobar wrestled sort of a little AEW-ish, if you will.
Yeah.
So like the past, like I think 2 or 3 matches that Dragon Lee has had, like I've noticed is like with Axiom and
Mhm.
Cedric Alexander, right?
Mhm.
And for WWE stuff, I mean they were letting, especially for a TV match, they were letting these guys fly. Like really,
Yes, they were.
like holy cow, they're actually letting them do this in a WWE
Yeah.
ring, and
Right.
all 2, 3 times the crowd got super into it.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Awesome. Mhm.
It's like, okay, so I think, Triple H is letting, Dragon Lee do his thing to get over that way because, no one
Mhm.
else in that company right now is going to be allowed to do the stuff that he's,
Yeah.
trying to do, right?
No,
So,
exactly.
I thought this match was the weakest on the card because
Mhm.
it
I can
felt
agree.
like it felt like a TV match, and I feel like they probably didn't they took away some of the time to, give
Mhm.
to the other stuff that would happen on the card. Like, I thought it
Mhm.
was it was short, could have been on a TV, on a SmackDown or whatever, and
Mhm.
they didn't really let Dragon Lee show, what he can really do. Probably because, he ended up losing.
Right.
So, they didn't want him to, uncork all of what he can do, his arsenal and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense. I'm not upset with the outcome there.
Mhm.
Uh, the
You got to build them up.
Santos Escobar is a heel. Seems pretty good. He
Mhm.
comes out in that suit and that mean looking face, that he puts on. I was like, all right, it's better than him coming out in the I don't, what is that thing, like
The
the poncho,
poncho.
the
Oh,
the poncho
yeah.
smiling, LWO, and
Yeah.
it's like LW.
Yeah.
That really like him as a baby face really just wasn't working.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the LWO, I think as a whole really isn't working. Is like Rey Mysterio, Zelina Vega, and then like, hey, there's 3 other guys in Santos.
Yeah, no, I mean, in reality, even back in the WCW days, I mean, LWO wasn't as big. I honestly think this is the best as the LWO's ever been, even from WCW.
Sure.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I like it. I clearly have the shirt on or whatever. I like it, but other than that, I'm intrigued to seeing what they do with Santos going forward, and to see how well he grows too, in this new heel role that he has,
I mean,
because
if
I
he's
agree with
allowed to keep saying things like, "Yo,
yeah.
I hope you amputate," and like, if like Rey Mysterio shows up in a wheelchair and he pushes him off the ramp, Zack Ryder and Kane
Bro,
style, like, yeah,
yeah,
I'm down for that, absolutely.
push him
Is it?
off the stage. Yeah. You
But
really think that
like him being Ray's little buddy is like
yeah,
it's not. It wasn't really
it
working.
wasn't
I
going
don't think.
over. Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't
like
going
like
over at all.
there's a low ceiling for that.
Yeah.
Like Santos is a heel. There's something there.
Yeah, no, nobody's really gonna like the goody two shoes, until you start making some noise, and hopefully he makes enough noise, where he will get noticed or whatnot. And so, I mean, it's I'm looking forward to it again, like you said, it's gonna be fun for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so now let's move on to the women's world championship: Zoe Stark versus Rhea Ripley.
Hmm.
Uh, I like that match. I'm a big fan of Rhea Ripley, like I said before.
Everyone's
She's
a fan of
great.
mommy.
Yeah, everyone's a fun to mommy. So she's overall great performer in the ring. She brings a lot of excitement. Obviously, you know, um, it's just fun watching her matches. She was wearing like the chaps or whatnot, and the whole time I'm thinking she's dressed like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
And so,
I think that was the point.
yeah,
Shawn
the whole
Michaels.
the,
Yeah.
the whole Shawn Michaels thing or whatever.
If only those were. Never mind.
Yeah, right. And so, I mean, I thought Stark was pretty good in there. She was pretty good as well. I feel like it's a pretty good, like I guess, first really like good individual opportunity to win, to try to win the title or whatever. And so it's a big match for her, I think. And so, but yeah, Ripley, man, she puts on a show. So, and she's a star that's just gonna keep on growing. So I like the match. If I were to grade it, I'd say probably like a B or whatnot. But I did like it. It was entertaining. No complaints there. It was just a good little back and forth. But obviously, it was to make Rhea Ripley shine or whatnot. But nonetheless, Stark, I felt like she put on a great show, great performance as well. So I like the match. I thought that was pretty entertaining. What about you?
Yeah, it wasn't a bad match. Pretty solid overall, I'd say. I guess Zoe Stark is pretty damn
Yeah.
athletic.
Oh
Like
yeah,
really
for sure.
really athletic. She likes to do the springboard. She can get to the rope and jumping
Hmm.
from the apron and all that. That thing she does where like she bounces off the ropes to do like a weird little corkscrew thing. I think that's a little
Hmm.
much, and maybe she needs some more practice to land a little more consistently.
Yeah.
It's like on TV, it's like, it's kind of wonky. She didn't really get much of it. But I think the problem overall though is like there's not much for Rhea to do because when
Yeah.
Bianca went to SmackDown, she took all the top stars with her because
Yeah.
you got Becky and
Sick.
Bailey and Damage Control and all of them, and then Charlotte's in the mix over there, and then on the other side of the Rhea's got like who's the big like name over the beside like Raquel Rodriguez and like
Yeah.
the talent to challenge her on Monday Night Raw is clearly mid card level. I mean, not a
Hmm.
bad thing. And they've teased before as like she stares down Becky or Bianca in the hall or whatever, but that hasn't led to much yet.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. It's just like little seeds that they're trying. I guess they're trying to plant or whatnot to maybe some future s matches or whatnot. But yeah, yeah, you're right. There's really nothing. It almost seems like there's really not much for Rhea Ripley to do, and
no,
where
there's
she's
not. I
at.
said like it's
Yeah,
to compare to AEW, sorry
yeah,
comparisons and all that, but it's like so there was the division for Jade Cargill when she was there, and then
hmm,
there's the Britt Baker and the Women's World Championship and all that, like because Jade Cargill never wrestled, Britt Baker or Jamie
hmm,
Hayter or Hikaru Shida or any of the the top AEW women. I think
yeah.
she did wrestle Thunder Rosa, I think, right? But then
Believe if I'm not mistaken, yeah, she did.
yeah, and then Rosa got injured, and we haven't seen
Hmm.
her in like a year and a half.
Exactly.
Even though
Yeah,
she's on like the
online
intro
and
video
everything.
for Collision, and
Yeah,
that's the
she's never.
last
I
we've
don't think.
seen of her.
Yeah, exactly. That was
Yeah, so
one and done on there.
yeah, so Rhea Ripley kind of feels like that right now. I mean, she stands high and above everyone else, and then
Mhm.
like the women on Monday Night Raw, just they're not there yet.
To that level or whatnot. Do you kind of see it as? Do you remember when Charlotte Flair was going through her like complete utter dominance like stage or whatnot? It almost kind of feels like that, where there was really not much competition, I guess, for Charlotte Flair at one point.
I've heard
Um,
about that. This is
mhm.
before I got back into the
Oh, that's right.
WWE like
That's right.
2 or
Yeah.
3 years ago or whatever it
Yeah.
was. But
Is it?
yeah, I
Is
mean,
it?
I've heard about, Charlotte's reign of terror, and, they're only
Mm,
giving her all these title runs to match
mhm.
her dad, and so, I mean, I've heard about it, I'm aware of it, but I didn't personally see it, no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It seemed like it was like that because that's when I was also just tuning in back and forth. But yeah, it almost seemed like it because it was just like Charlotte complete utter dominance from her, just winning every single title to the point where like, oh, you know
Yeah,
which one
yeah,
she
yeah,
hasn't won
yeah,
yet?
what is it,
The
welcome to the Charlotte
NXT.
Flair division and all that, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
Exactly. So
infamous.
it's turning it. Yeah. Exactly. It's turning into that. But
Yeah.
all right. Next match is the
So
men's
I will
war games
say,
match.
like,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Mhm.
no, it's just to briefly cap that off. It's like I
Yeah.
think people like Rhea Ripley a lot more than. So it didn't seem like many people were fans of Charlotte Flair in her
Yeah.
age of dominance, but
Mhm.
Rhea Ripley can do no wrong at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think I do even for me, like when I saw something like that, her reign of terror, I guess you want to call it, the real Ripley, I guess current reign of terror or whatnot is just it's a lot more engaging to watch because and maybe because there's even though they're like you said, there may be a like mid cardish level, it's still exciting to watch them, her go
For
against
now, I
some
mean,
yeah,
a
for now.
year from now, if they haven't strengthened her side of the show, it was
Yeah.
well, welcome to the Rhea Ripley show, you yawn and
Mm.
all that, but
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now,
it gets old
it's
after that.
working because everyone loves Rhea Ripley. But if it keeps
Mhm.
going like this, it's like, oh, wait, your Rhea
It
Ripley's
be
wrestling so and so.
Yeah.
So what?
It hits its how do you call it? It's
It's peak.
time to it's peak and then it just kind of declines. Really quick
Yeah.
before I move on to the men's war games, I want to hit up the comment section. We got Rafael check in. What's up, Rafael? Thank you. Cameron Cradle, yes, sir. This is about WWE. Tino, what's up, Tino? I know you're a big wrestling fan. What's up? How's it going? And you also followed up with I feel like I'm still dreaming. Yeah, we're gonna hit on that again. And did Saturday really happen? All right. So we're gonna go into that actually right now in the
Yeah,
men's
I've
war
watched that
games.
clip like 5 times at this point just to make sure
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. And so what's funny is that my buddy Tino, the one that's just commenting right now, he's a Chicago White Sox fan, so I could see why he's a big CM Punk fan. He's up in the Chicago area. So I see why. Well anyway,
I love to hear that.
the men's war games match. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Uh I thought that the teams that they put together was actually pretty well. They worked really well cohesively. They're very cohesive or whatnot with Cody Rhodes and um, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Even though I'm not so big of a fan of Seth Rollins, Uso, and then finally Sami Zayn, and then finally Randy Orton just joining in at the end. What I liked about this is, to me, my biggest opinion, the match was also pretty engaging. Like the match itself was pretty engaging. I did enjoy watching it, but I think I may have told you this, Bruce. I can't remember. So I like the way that they set it up. This whole thing.
Okay.
It started off with like Randy Orton maybe showing up or maybe not. So, uh, and it almost seemed like to some fans that maybe CM Punk's going to end up replacing him or whatever.
Yeah, that actually
Um,
is a little clever, like,
it
diversionary
is,
thing because
yeah,
everyone's talking. Like, I mean, Survivor Series,
mhm,
Chicago,
yeah,
Punk is probably available to be signed,
hmm
due to whatever that, legal contract dispute was with AEW.
hmm
So, like,
hmm
maybe CM Punk shows up to,
maybe,
fill in. It's
yeah,
like, it's kind of there. I mean, a little bit. It's a little bit of a stretch, I would think. Oh, yeah, CM Punk really feels sorry
right,
for Team Cody Rhodes, but
yeah,
it was in the back of people's minds that, like,
yeah. It
following all
definitely
this
got you
stuff.
talking. It definitely got you talking, and it was a topic of conversation. And then there were like little seeds that they really planted well. Like they were trying to figure out. There was a moment where like Cody Rhodes was like, "I'm gonna call a friend" or whatever, and it was just almost very nonchalant. Just placed there or whatever. And then again, it makes the viewer wonder because like at this point, WWE knows what they know what the fans want. And they'll try
They'll
to
just make us wait as long as possible
They'll
to
just
get
make his way. Yeah, it's they're not just gonna give it up so easily. They're gonna make they're gonna make us work for it or whatever,
yeah.
which is the exciting part, to be honest. And so Uh, finally, all the guys come out or whatever, and then you're like the whole time, the whole show is you're wondering, you're speculating whether Randy's going to show up, and then he finally, the camera goes over there to the Titantron, I still call it Titantron, or the entrance ramp area, and then Randy's music hits. So to the
No,
average,
first before that, Rhea's music played
oh,
because
that's right. I apologize.
they played the Money in the
Yeah,
Bank cash in first.
you're right. So that was one right there. You're absolutely right. I totally forgot about that moment. Rhea comes in with the Money in the Bank, and you're thinking, "Oh snap, he's really gonna cash it in right now." It
No,
almost
that
felt
I mean
like,
if that actually had played
yeah,
out, I was like, oh, okay, well, let's see
yeah,
where this goes.
exactly,
But apparently, the Damian Priest is just perpetually in like a cuck scenarios. Like, how many times
yeah,
has he attempted to cash in and it's not gone
exactly,
right? So
and
it's,
it
I
does
mean,
not.
they can't keep playing that card. It's like, all right, is this
Mhm.
guy ever gonna do anything with this, or is it just, you
Is it
know?
gonna be the whole? Is it gonna be like the day before the whole year, before the year ends or whatever? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. So yes, I totally forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. So yeah, she comes
Mhm.
out and like, oh snap, he's gonna actually cash it in or whatever. And
No,
as
it's I
they're
mean,
about,
think about it too. Like, sorry to interrupt. I mean,
no, you're good,
nothing
you're
like
good.
that's ever been done. It's like they're doing a
Hmm.
multi-man, in the war games, and
Hmm.
then in the middle of a match that's already going on. Like, has it
Hmm.
ever been done where, like, in the middle of that match, the Money in the Bank gets cashed in?
Right,
Like,
right,
that's never been
exactly.
done before, as far as I know, which would have been
Ever.
cool to see.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh wow. So for the fan, for the WWE fan or the wrestling fan, they're like, oh, I know where this is going. I felt like it was almost like a small, like it deterred you away from that for a little bit. You're like, oh wait, okay, so they're doing this or whatever. And then Randy Orton's music hits. You're like, okay, so it is Randy Orton. Randy Orton is coming in or whatever. So then Randy Orton puts on his show or whatnot, and then in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, well, I guess him as the show went on further, Randy Orton's in. You're in the back of your head, you're like, okay, maybe CM Punk isn't coming. Maybe it was just whatever. But in some people's minds, it's like, okay, maybe he is, maybe he's not, whatever. So you still kind of weren't too sure. Match ends. The boys win it, and then suddenly the copyrights logo comes out. As soon as that copyright logo comes up, everybody else, I'm pretty sure majority of the people were like, "Oh, okay, I guess he's not." They fade away to the arena. CM Punk, the static sound comes in. CM Punk's music, crowd goes insane. Yep,
Yeah.
and all in yeah, in all the living colors. Like you got to see, like the pop was just great. Like like I guess in wrestling, you always live for those pops. You like seeing those pops. This was one of them. Obviously, being his
Oh, no, I
hometown.
mean, it's the numbers prove it. I mean, they
Yes.
spent half like, literally, like, half of Monday Night Raw saying, this is the
Yeah.
most viral moment we've ever
Hmm.
had in the history of our social media and all that.
Hmm.
Like,
You,
I watched 2 hours and 50 minutes worth of Monday Night Raw just to hear him talk, and
yes.
they wouldn't shut it. I was like, "Oh, yeah, the most viewed moment and all across all the socials and all that." But
Yeah.
no, it's I mean, like Triple H said at, the press conference or whatever, lightning in a bottle.
Hmm.
I mean, it's
I
like,
mean, it worked.
if you follow the history and all that, it's like, CM Punk have said some pretty disparaging things
Yeah.
about the WWE. It's like, they almost killed him. It's run by a bunch of clowns.
Hmm.
Vince McMahon should be a billionaire, but he's a doofus, and his doofus
Yeah.
son-in-law is going to take over and all that. Like, CM Punk
Which he
said
did.
some, yeah. I mean, he's literally said all these horrible things about WWE, and then when he was in AEW, cut all those promos. If you think the
Hmm.
grass is greener, go on. Headline a buy one get one free 4-day weekend special or whatever, right?
Yep.
So, in spite of all that, like he showed up. Like, as soon as I finished my thing, it's like, all right, I literally fast forward through the pay-per-view just to see if he showed up. And I
Hmm.
made it to the very end. I saw the copyright logo. I was like, oh, I guess he didn't show up.
Yeah.
Then I saw the CM Punk thing on the wide shot. I was like, and then he walked out. I was like, holy shit, they
They
actually
actually did
did it.
it. They
Like,
actually did it.
like, wrestling these days is so very rarely there's rarely a true
Right.
genuine surprise. CM Punk back in the E in 2023 is one of those rare exceptions, an
Big time.
actual surprise.
It is. It caught a lot of people off guard. There's videos of people like genuinely upset. The reaction because they were waiting on him, and then they were upset, and then suddenly it comes out, and boom, there's a reaction, right?
Yeah,
In
I
the
don't know if you saw this, but I saw like a Facebook thread or or Twitter or X started, whatever, of people
Uh-huh.
is like, we will not stand for CM Punk in a WWE ring. If we
Yeah.
can just get
Yes.
20 of us, we'll storm the ring, and he won't get in there.
Wow.
And, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of psychos out there with
Yeah.
grandiose ideas.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
People. It's still real. It's still real. No. Yeah, dude. They pulled it off. Apparently there were reports that Triple H kind of did that almost like last minute, or there have been talks about it, and then the way
Yeah,
that
he
it went
said, like,
about.
he literally said, like, in the press conference, like, this is a deal that came together very quickly. It's like, we've only been talking for like 7 days.
Yeah.
And like nobody knew besides Triple H and
Hmm.
Nick Khan.
Yeah.
So they say.
Exactly.
So
So
they
they
say.
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a point there where I think you and I were talking about Drew McIntyre. Like we
Yeah.
felt like this was over. Like, and there's a thing because I remember seeing there was videos of people recording of Drew McIntyre walking off of the arena upset and pissed off or whatever. And for in hindsight, even for the most for the wrestling fan that's always like, I guess, pessimistic about it, that's always been it's just a work. Even when Drew McIntyre walked out, it was like, oh snap, is this really a work? Is Drew McIntyre so upset? Because I mean the contract negotiations, they're still pending or whatever. And then um obviously with the return of CM Punk and then him walking away like that, it was like, wow. Like it made you speculate, do you see Drew coming in? Even at one point you and I were like, man, I feel sorry for Drew or whatnot. And then
Yeah, we were talking about that, yes.
yeah, it's basically a really good a pretty good work.
Well, I mean that's when wrestling is at its best, is like,
Yeah.
when, you are presented things that, like if you follow it, with any sort of, additional interest beside, beyond the show, like you read the websites or
Right.
forums or, whatever podcasts are out there. It's like
Mhm.
the best wrestling is like, like certain things are known to be true. It's like Drew McIntyre has not signed a new
Mhm.
contract.
Right.
Drew McIntyre, so they say, has, been upset because, he's not happy with his spot or he wants more money or
Mhm.
whatever. Then, CM Punk shows up. He gets the reaction that he got, and Drew McIntyre, who's over here in limbo, sees this and he's like, what the F, man?
Yeah. I've
The
been
heck?
here. I've
Yeah.
been here busting my ass, and like his moment of shine was basically during the pandemic where nobody was really there to see. I mean, yeah, we all saw it online, but nobody was really there live, right? A whole
Yeah, I mean,
different
it's a
feeling.
whole different thing. It's like, would you rather win WrestleMania in front of like,
Mhm.
like 70,000 people at the, the Cowboy Stadium or whatever, or would you rather
Mhm.
win it in front of like 300 screens with like 90% bad resolution? Like,
Right. Some of the
yeah, and there's no
yes,
noise. Yeah.
some of them are frozen. Really quick, Twosted, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Twosted put Seth cashed in on Roman and Brock mid-match at WrestleMania 31.
My homie Toasted, I know him.
There you go.
He's my guy.
Nice, nice. Thanks for the shout out, buddy. Yeah, dude. It was a
WrestleMania
pretty good pay-per-view.
31? How long
Yeah.
ago was that? Wait, what did he
What are we
say?
in? Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
he
aren't
said.
we
He
up,
said
are we up about to be up to 40 or
I lost count after 25, man.
yeah, fair
After
enough.
25, I lost count. Yeah. I was like, which wrestle? Oh, that one. Okay, that's the one we're working on this year.
See.
Yeah. Philly or whatever, they're going to Philadelphia this year. Next year, sorry. For WrestleMania. Is it WrestleMania 40?
All right, so WrestleMania 31 was 8 years ago.
Stop it.
Stop, stupid.
Stop, stupid.
March
Inside joke.
2015. Yeah.
Jeez, man. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Oh, was that the one where like Seth Cat he was like swinging the
yes.
belt around on the ramp?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh wait. So he cashed in mid-match, and then Brock and Roman or Brock or whoever finished their match, and winner was like, "Well, that asshole at the top of my ramp has my belt."
It's a belt now. So demeaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But yeah. Let's talk about something really quick because I know that you and I bring
Yeah.
it up. So AEW, you convince CM Punk to come back. You give him all this money, and
It's good to be
all
the
this
son of
stuff.
a billionaire.
I mean, yeah, and then you completely mess it up with CM Punk. Like that was the guy that drew money for your company. I don't care what anybody says. That guy was the one that drew money for AEW. Nobody's paying money to see. I mean, at least that I know of, nobody's paying money to go and see. How do you call it? Any really any of the guys that are there that I can think of. Edge, is he kind of a draw? Adam Copeland, sorry. Um, but
I
do you
guess that would
really
depend on who you ask, but I mean, it's
Moxley? Like,
I hate to be, sound anti AEW because I really want the promotion to
oh,
succeed.
same.
Like
Yeah, same.
the better AEW is, the better WWE will have to be, and vice versa, and all that. And the rising tide lifts all ships, right?
Mhm.
But I mean,
True.
some of these pictures, like when CM Punk got fired, the Young Bucks doing the victory lap in a half empty
That
arena,
was
and
that
like Edge, like his like a big part of his entrance is going to both sides and acknowledging the crowd, right? And
right.
you see some of these pictures that are going around online, and he can't go to both sides because one side literally does not have any people.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
So which is
agreed.
sad to see because I mean, not like what 3 weeks before he showed up in AEW, he performed with Sheamus in a sold out crowd in Toronto.
Yes. On
Toronto,
SmackDown.
right? Yeah, on
Yeah,
SmackDown.
on SmackDown.
Which was
On a
which was
fr
a, which was a great match, and I'm not really
It
a
was.
huge fan of Edge, admittedly, but it was a good match,
Yeah.
and I got to imagine, it's well, actually, maybe he might not care because I'm sure there's enough zeros at the end of his paycheck
Mhm.
to, null the pain. It's like, well, what do I care? This money's guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it's
And that's
not. I
what
mean, it's not on Edge to. I mean, to bring people in. It's on
yeah,
the booker and management and all that. Like he's
yeah.
the one who's got to promote and give
Mhm.
people a reason to want to spend money to show up to an AEW show.
Exactly, and like you said, I'm not an anti AEW. I love wrestling as a whole. I love wrestling in general. So, and like you said, I mean, at this point, competition. I really want AEW to succeed because competition brings out the best in both companies. But the way that it's being run right now, it just kind of, and I don't really think Tony Khan really cares. I think it's just like not cares about his company, but just kind of like I think
I
he's just
mean,
having fun with it.
I know the Khan family is rich, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, this faucet is not never ending. It's not
Yes,
infinite, and I mean, he's got a lot of people under contract, and
he does.
who knows how much he had to pay CM Punk. Whether he had to pay out
Right.
that contract or whatever. And what about who? What about Jack Perry hasn't been seen since the whole thing, and
Exactly.
he's probably still
Well,
getting paid.
oh yeah, I'm pretty sure, and that's the thing though. Like the fact that the control behind the scenes is like that was my biggest issue. Like this again, and this is based off of what Jim Cornette said and when the incident had happened. It's like this is the guy that draws money for you, and then because guys like the Young Bucks and that crew or whatever, and then you got Jungle Boy, saying the line, that infamous line of like, "Cry me a real glass, cry me a river," or something like that,
Oh, so
just to
I heard.
antagonize it.
So sorry to
Like,
interrupt, but
no, no, go ahead,
just
go ahead.
just to jump in real quick. So you know how
Yeah.
CM Punk he debuted back re-debuted back in the E with the plain white tee.
Yes.
So like they've been memeing it, like writing stuff on that shirt.
Of
Thank
course,
you,
of
Jungle
course.
Boy, or
Mhm.
real glass. Guess who's laughing
Re-
now? So on and so forth. So that's. I mean, who
Hey.
knew that the Jungle Boy Jack Perry? I mean, unless divine intervention happens, his greatest
Mhm.
contribution to wrestling will be getting CM Punk back into WWE. Now,
To
it
WWE.
it doesn't even matter. Like if CM Punk, if he has a great run, or if he ends up doing CM Punk stuff and getting kicked out because
Yeah.
someone pissed him off or whatever.
We
But Jungle Boy did the unthinkable. He
yeah.
got CM Punk back in the
Go-
WWE ring in 2023.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that will be his greatest contribution to professional
To
wrestling.
wrestling. Exactly. Getting him over to WWE because of Jungle Boy, everybody got that moment. Because of Jungle Boy, everybody got to see that pop. Yeah, if it wasn't for Jungle Boy, we should all be thanking Jungle Boy for this particular moment right now.
Oh my!
Uh
I mean, imagine that. Thank you,
Thank
Jungle
you,
Boy.
Jungle Boy.
Or they just
Thank
out of
you,
nowhere
Perry.
when CM Punk's doing a live in ring promo, they just start to.
The Jungle Boy thing.
Yeah.
Just it'd be hilarious. Oh, dude, that'd be funny. Yeah, exactly. That is his greatest contribution because I don't, as a performer, every time I saw him, I was like, oh, You know what I mean? It wasn't even when he cut his promos as trying to be a heel. I never bought into them. And like I said, going back to my point, I just don't see anybody really that's a money drawer for the AEW right now after CM Punk that people would actually pay to see. I think now is just I think AEW and I might be wrong here. They people go see it because there's it's just a show. I've seen
Plus,
recently,
there's a sect of AEW fans. It's
yeah,
it's not
it's like
it's not it's not the WWE. So these are our people. There is a
right.
lot of tribalism
Hmm.
in wrestling, which is weird. But I mean, there's that in actual professional sports all around the world.
Right,
So
exactly. It's like the
it'll always
loyal,
be weird like that.
yeah. And I mean, think about it. TNA still's got, or Impact still has like loyal
No, they're
followers
TNA
till
again.
this day. Yeah, they're TNA again. That's right. Yeah, so TNA still has their loyal fan base as well. So I mean, if they're able to survive all these years, I'm sure it'd probably be the same for like AEW or whatnot. So I don't think AEW is going to go anywhere, but they still have their fans. But I just hope that I just wish that it was managed better than
Yeah.
what's going on right now. But
It's
you
just
know,
it's just a very disjointed product. I mean, it's the pushes seemingly start and then just end out of nowhere.
right?
Wardlow is a big one, and then T started feuding with the lawyer and this obviously fake security team. It's like you had people chanting his name like he was Goldberg,
Yeah.
and then you have him you're having him waste his time with a lawyer
Yes.
and
Yeah.
20 security guys, and then he disappeared off of TV for like a year and a half, and now they're trying to
Mhm.
do the same thing with him squashing people in a minute with 7 or 8 power bombs or whatever, and it's like
Yeah.
you already did this.
It's too late already. Yeah. Time has passed for that. Uh, what so I one of the things that I wanted to see is that, and I think you did too, that we wanted to see how AEW would respond to the whole CM Punk debacle or whatnot. And I mean, yeah, I think you and I off air we were talking about Edge and Christian. So they're slated to have a match, I think next week,
Next week
uh,
for the TNT
for the
title on
TNT title.
free TV,
Now, that's what I was going to ask you.
which is like
That
like one
should
of the only good things going in
right.
AEW right now is Christian and what he's doing.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. And I'm thinking if you just got Edge and because we all knew inevitably they were going to go against each other. I felt like maybe they could have built a storyline around it. And maybe even led it to a pay-per-view, but now it's going to be on next week.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with like Tony and the way he likes to do things. It's rapid fire. The boom, boom, boom,
Mm.
boom, boom. Get it over with. It's
Right.
it's nothing that like makes your mouth water and makes you want to wait. Like, man, that steak's looking pretty good. Can't wait to eat it. And then it's
There.
like
It's there.
like Christian versus Edge should be a pay per view match. Like that would be a reason
Exactly.
to want to watch the pay per view. And I mean, it being on free TV, I mean, I can't imagine Edge is gonna win. Or Adam
Right.
Cole would.
Exactly. Or unless he gets screwed in some sort of way. Um, that's the only thing I can think of. By the way, you got somebody as a call Solemn or
Yeah,
is it
Solom. Yeah, he's
Solemn? Okay.
he's one of my guys too.
There you go, dude. It's the XCAL guy. What's
Hmm.
up, XCAL? And
All washed up.
yeah, all watched up. They have no lead up. It's literally just jump right to the matches. Yeah. Come on, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
poking fun at him.
Yeah. But no, it's true though. Like there really is no lead up, and it's just like random. Oh, Edge versus Christian, but there was no story built around it. Um,
Well, I mean,
and
they
I think
built it up, but it's just it's too soon. Like,
yeah,
I mean, maybe this is I've been watching WWE on off and on for the past. Say it out loud, I'll just feel old, but long enough, right? But it's just when it comes to wrestling, it's like you got to build up to make people want to
yeah,
see it. And so it's like, look, everyone knows, like we want to see Edge versus Christian. Can't just give it to us like that, you
yeah.
know?
You gotta make us
Because
work for it, man.
yeah, because like you got to let it simmer for a little bit and soak up all the flavor of all of the story that could be built up, the story that could be told, and then you're just gonna throw them in a random match on
Exactly.
Dynamite and the first week of December. It's a little. They literally have a pay-per-view at the end of December. It's like, what are
Hey,
they gonna
this
do?
is
Throw them in like a cage match, no interference or whatever? It's
yeah.
just it's weird.
Check it out. This is your guy right here. We have no foreplay when it comes to AEW.
No, it's just straight to the blood drinking.
I love it. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody else posted Fly P side 11. Did Jungle Boy ever finish his feud with Christian?
No, he got
No.
spanked. He got spanked, and then he got spanked backstage for real by CM Punk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Dude. By the way, that comment, that foreplay comment was hilarious. Big ups.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah, no, exactly, dude. Like there's no and I wish and I think that's one of the things that's lacking. I was excited when AEW came along because it was like, okay, great. This is talent that we can kind of get to know, kind of build up. And I think that's what's lacking. There's no talent built up. There's
Well, I mean, they try to. It's like, again, like, Wardlow, like he was red hot when he was MJF's bodyguard. And
yes.
like that was a great build up because week by week you could see Wardlow, like his eye would twitch just a little more.
Yeah.
And then when Wardlow destroyed MJF, like that was great.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to fight a lawyer.
Yeah.
So he goes from the biggest heel in the company to fighting Mark Sterling.
Yes.
And his group of fake security. It's like, and then he
I don't want to see
disappears.
that. And disappears and he goes
Yeah.
away for a while. So yeah, AEW I thought would bring in some new blood with some great stories, but they just kill the stories. They do. I agree with you. It's
Like
just
I
how
know
it
what
is.
he's doing. It's like he did it on this past Dynamite where, and he's done it before too. Where it's like I respect that he's willing to work openly with like the talent over in AAA and New
Yeah.
Japan, and it's like the guys he's brought over like Okada, like like I know Okada just by virtue of reputation. I've never seen him wrestle before he came to AEW to do like the one-off stuff. But like when he brings someone like that over, it's just like, hey, here's Okada. He's wrestling next week, and I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
exactly.
Like I don't know anything about this guy other than that he exists.
Yeah.
And he
Ibushi.
does this with Kota Ibushi. Never heard of him
Kota
before.
Ibushi?
He brings in the luchadors from AAA like El Hijo de Vikingo. Like he's
Yeah.
nuts. I'd
Yeah,
like to see more of him, but like he shows up on like a random Dynamite out of nowhere. It's like I have no clue who this guy is. And it's like, he seemingly shows up whenever he wants, like he's a stray cat or whatever. It's like, oh,
Yes.
hey, he owes in
we're
town.
feeding
Well,
him
all
to
right, we'll come on
Exactly.
in. Like,
exactly. And
and
so
then he disappears for like 2 months or whatever until he just shows up on a random rampage or whatever. That
I gotta tell you,
watches.
I gotta tell you. Yesterday, I saw a clip, and it was like Penta. My boy Penta. He came out, and he's like, 1, 2, 3. He's like, ven acá, like come here, and then he brings out Hijo del Vikingo and how do you call it? And Commander.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like
Yeah.
El Hijo. It's like he's I guess the classic luchador. I'm not too familiar with AAA or his body of work, but he seems like I mean when he's going, he's gonna for better or for worse, he's gonna do his thing. But it's very
Exactly.
impressive what he can do. But I mean there's no like proper build-ups. Like he's only a big star apparently because he's a star over there. And I just got to take their word
AAA.
for it.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
It's just weird. It's like I like that they're willing to work with all these people so that I can see people that I can't normally see. But it's like it's hard to get invested in these guys when they show up, they do their thing, and then they're gone for another 2 months, and then they just show up randomly again. It's very weird how he put all this together.
Exactly. It's almost like last minute. Oh, you're in town. Come on in. Let's see if we can put you in. Whatever. Last minute. Your boy.
It'd just be like if like like next Friday night SmackDown. If just like if this was Tony Khan booking WWE, it'd be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title. It's like
exactly.
Isn't that a little soon for that, buddy?
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna hop off it. Yeah, exactly. No foreplay. I'm gonna hop out and make some dinner. I made sure to sub. Have a great night. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it.
Thanks
and
for
then
stopping by, Zolom.
Okada versus Reigns at WrestleMania.
Hey, I mean, I wouldn't mind watching that.
Yeah. Ibushi versus Orton.
Match.
Yeah, Ibushi versus Orton at WrestleMania. Bring out Stone Cold and you got me. And then LeBron versus Zion at WrestleMania. There you go. We're just booking
No, we
AEW
know. We need
style.
no. We know. We needed LeBron
Yeah,
versus Dylan Brooks.
Dylan
That's the
Brooks.
story.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
Dylan Brooks plays for Houston, man. He's got the dog in him.
yeah. So it says when Jungle Boy said "Go Cry Me a River," why does CM Punk get mad at that?
It's because of
Uh,
what he said before that.
yeah. Basically
Okay,
the
so all
real
right, so
blast. Go ahead.
there is some context needed here.
Yeah.
Like just if you just watch wrestling casually, like that's a weird thing to say. It's like
Right.
why would he talk to the camera, cry me a river? It's real glass. Like that's it on its own. It's a really weird thing to say because it doesn't match anything that's really going on with his character.
Mhm.
It's like why would you care if it's real glass or
Right.
not? So the story behind that is that so it's I guess infamously known at this point that CM Punk, when he was still in AEW, was running Collision pretty much. Like it was a show made for him
Right.
that Tony Khan gave him
Yes.
so that, he could work with who he wants to work with and avoid the people he doesn't like, mainly the Elite, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, and anyone who's friends with them.
Right.
And the Young Bucks, or no, the Jungle Boy is part of that camp. Like he's friends with the Young Bucks. And an idea that Jungle Boy had for Collision was that he wanted to get thrown through a real pane of glass and get written off TV for a while. And from what I understand, a lot of people who were in charge, like Tony Schiavone or any agents or producers or whatever, is like, that's not really a great idea. And Jungle Boy was adamant, so all the leadership, they waited till CM Punk showed up and said, like, yeah, we don't do that on Saturday nights.
Wow.
So
Exactly.
that's the context. And like working
Jesus.
with real glass is stupid. I mean, just ask Goldberg. He almost died.
Yeah. Remember when he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Exactly.
he casually elbowed or punched a car door window out and almost bled to death. Like if it was just a
Exactly.
centimeter one way or the other, he would have cut an artery.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. He almost died doing that. And then again, keep in mind, Goldberg gets a concussion every time he goes to the ring. Every time he bangs his head on the wall. I mean, on the door or whatever. And then, needless to say, along with that, dude, you're just asking for it. We have another comment. Dang ol. XCAL and Carlos. Wow, this is great content. Been watching XCAL for years. Dang all.
Yeah, dang all.
Dang all.
Well, I'm here on this sect of the Just Fans podcast 20% of the time, 25% of the time. So
on the wrestling stuff, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but yeah, this is overall, WWE is definitely they're showing the reason why they're far superior.
I
And
mean,
again,
look, WWE, they're red hot right now.
they are
Now with the addition of CM Punk, I mean, CM Punk can wrestle Seth Rollins. I'd like to see that. He can
I would
wrestle
too.
Drew McIntyre. I'd like to see that.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's history with Heyman. I mean, Punk
Mhm.
and Roman Reigns. I'd like to see that. And plus, Triple H, he says, like, we know what the fans want, and we're gonna try our damnedest to do that. And plus, on top of that, like, actually, just as an offset here, I'd actually like to see Punk be heel.
Oh, definitely.
Because
Why would we not?
WWE is missing top heels, and like I don't
Top
know if you
heels.
caught like the end of his promo on Monday. Is like, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. So
Yeah.
like the idea of like corporate Punk is
Mhm.
hilarious.
Corporate Punk comes in a suit and everything. Like I want to see him like dress dress up and straight like he's there for the money. Like I like that corporate Punk.
Yeah,
That would be a good
it's like
storyline.
him being this against the authority and
Mhm.
voice of the voiceless and all that. So he
It's a
comes back
story.
after talking trash about the E for like the past 10 years.
Mhm.
It's like on podcasts, on Twitter and Instagram stories
Everywhere.
and all that, and AEW promos. He comes back,
Yeah.
oh, I'm home to make some money.
It's just funny. Like somebody posted. It was one of the memes that I saw, and because the memes have been hilarious, like you said, with a T-shirt or whatnot, and they had a picture of CM Punk coming back, and it said when he says I'm home or whatever, and it's like when your dad shows up 9 years later after going out for
I saw
for
that.
a gallon of milk or
I don't know
whatever.
if you retweet. Yeah, I saw that. When
Yeah.
your dad randomly comes back after a milk run. Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah, no
No,
man.
because I mean that's true because like when Kurt Angle left the WWE back in God, what was that, like 2006 or so, early mid 2000s, right? Like,
Yes.
it's like this is a well-known story. Is he'd get stopped in the airport. It's like, hey, loved you in the WWE. It's why'd you retire? When he's
Hmm.
been on TNA TV
Yeah.
for like 2
For
years.
a while.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who didn't even know what CM Punk was doing, and it's not
Exactly.
a dig or anything. It's just reality.
Yeah. No, exactly. And so it's yeah, exactly. So yeah, I definitely see that. So the CM Punk hard cat memes had me laughing. Yeah, exactly. It's been great seeing Punk, and like you said, there's so many variety of stories that can go along with it, and hopefully, like that's what I'm saying. Like it must feel so weird for Tony Khan again. You got this guy out of basically borderline retirement, brought him on your show for a few months, and then
I mean, essentially, it was retired. He'd been gone from wrestling
yeah,
for 7 years at that point.
yeah, exactly. And you got him back, and you convinced him, and then you were drawing for a while, and then suddenly he's gone just because there was no control, you know? So, we were talking about AEW and the way they're building up stars or whatnot. What do you think how do you think it's going to be with Will Ospreay now in AEW?
He'll just be another guy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that they'll book him to look really strong for
Mhm.
like 4-5 months or whatever, if that, and then he'll just be another guy.
Mhm.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's the way he wrestles. I mean, I think I saw an interview like 2 or 3 months ago. It's like like his Oz cutter, the Cody cutter, where
Yes.
he jumps off the
Mhm.
rope and does the cutter. And
Mhm.
it's like he's making fun of Cody. He's like, "Hey, bro, that was fuck stole my move." It is like but he also pivoted into like every time I do that, man, it hurts.
Yeah.
So I know
You're yeah, he's probably not going to be doing that for a long time.
yeah, so it's the
Uh,
way he wrestles. I mean, he's got a limited shelf life unless he wants to
mhm.
wrestle more conservatively, which he probably won't because no one in AEW will tell him not to, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it is what he wants to do, and he's an incredible freaking athlete. Like
Yes.
so, the first time I saw him wrestle, it's like, good lord, the things he's doing. I've never
Yeah.
seen it before,
Mhm.
but it's
He's
just
great at
like
it.
no, I mean he's fantastic. It's just
Mhm.
with AEW, it's like I just
You don't trust it.
it's
Yeah.
it's just a start and stop, go push it. And I'm sure he'll disappear for a couple
Mhm.
months, and then it's like the only things that are consistent on AEW TV are John Moxley and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. That's it.
Like that. Those are Tony Khan's
And
go-to guys, and Jericho lives off in his own universe. He shows up
mhm.
when he wants. He's usually there, but
Yeah. And John Moxley bleeding. That's also pretty consistent.
well, he didn't bleed this past Wednesday wrestling
What?
Jay Lethal.
Jeez.
But it's
Uh,
because it's because he was wrestling Jay Lethal that he's like, oh yeah,
yeah.
well Jay Lethal's not
You're
gonna win.
you're not yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not worth
Yeah,
the
I mean,
blood.
like
No.
there's consistencies too, which like so
Mhm.
Ring of Honor clearly means a lot to Tony Khan, right? The
Right.
belts are all over AEW television.
Mhm.
So why does he treat Jay Lethal and Martin Briscoe like such garbage?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
they
If it
they
means
had
so
they had
much to
they
you,
had Mark Briscoe wrestle Roosh, I
Bruce,
think, and
yeah.
I'm like, and I'm not sure. They're either gonna do a draw or he's gonna lose, and well, sure enough, Mark Briscoe lost. I'm like,
Mhm.
that's, that's
That's a guy that you can
like you and I
kinda
talked about this. Like Mark
yes.
Briscoe, he's a scary looking guy. It's like, look, I
Yeah.
look at him like he does that thing where he's like barking at the camera with the missing front teeth or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
god damn.
I wouldn't like to bump into him in an alley.
No, I
What?
wouldn't either.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
there was an easy candidate there.
Yeah.
With the tragedy and all. I mean, you could at least turn
Mhm.
that into some good business. Like he could
Exactly.
easily be the number 2 or number 3 baby face in that company. Like I don't know if maybe Mark Briscoe's just happy with it, but I feel like that's just a missed opportunity that we were
Exactly.
touching upon earlier.
Exactly. Last question before we end up wrapping up. Jose Montero says, "What do y'all gentlemen think about Logan Paul XCAL kicks?"
That's Twitch emote syntax, but
Got it.
yeah. So Logan Paul, it's a shame he's such a scumbag because he's a
He's
really
a,
good professional wrestler.
he
Like
is.
no, it's like every time he's on screen, I can't look away. I got to see what he's gonna say. I got to see what he's gonna
Mhm.
do. Like
I
he's
think that's his hook. That's the hook, isn't it? for Logan Paul. Like you gotta watch.
Well, I
You
mean,
almost
nobody
gotta watch.
expects like how many
Yeah.
people in the history of ever like just show up to do professional wrestling and look, we all know Logan Paul. He doesn't need the money.
He does not.
He is independently successful. With
Mhm.
doing his own thing. His YouTube channel, his podcast. The boxing stuff that he
Mhm.
does. He clearly does not need the money.
Yeah.
And I guess on a whim, he's like, or maybe he's always liked professional wrestling, and he's got a name. So, hey,
But you can tell he
WWE, what
dedicated
up?
time.
What up?
Yeah.
Let's do something.
He
And
didn't
then he
choose
shows up,
AEW.
and he's really goddamn
He's
good.
good. He's good. Like to the point where you're going against Ricochet. Ricochet being one of the best performers I've ever seen out in the ring, and putting on a pretty decent match with him, clashing midair. I think you and I saw that at the Rumble, didn't we? Um,
Oh yeah, we were
yeah,
literally there live
we were
for that. I
there.
was like, wait, what are they
Yeah,
doing?
and
And
then
they,
we just
yeah,
see him.
yeah, yeah, from
Yeah,
one end to the other on the ropes, they clotheslined each other, and
yeah,
honestly, they
closing.
probably could have gone like another 2 feet and still hit
They
each
could
other,
have.
and it would have looked good.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
there's, I mean, they're both freakishly athletic, but I mean,
There. Mhm.
like I said, it's a shame he's a scumbag because he's a really he's a really
Yeah,
freaking great wrestler.
yeah. I agree with Bruce. I think, yeah, he is a scumbag, but man, he is a good wrestler. So it's almost like, all right, I'll put up with his scumbagginess, I guess, for to see him wrestle. But you could tell that he dedicated the time to actually learn the profession. Because when you get celebrities in WWE, that historically, like a lot of them are just kind of there for just obviously for the paycheck.
I
But
don't know. I
Logan
mean,
Paul,
Bad
like,
Bunny, to his credit, too,
I
was
mean,
pretty good,
no, yeah,
and Pat McAfee before him
yeah,
is really good. So it's
yeah.
something's clearly changed in the past
Hmm.
couple of years. Well, I don't know if you saw Crown Jewel. They brought out that Saudi Arabian movie star, and it's like,
Yeah. Hmm.
he's no Bad Bunny.
He's no Bad Bunny.
Yeah,
That's right. He didn't take a move all the way and crash into tables. But
yeah.
I mean, to all credit, Damian Priest actually carried that whole match with Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny did.
Yeah, but I mean, Bad Bunny held up his
Yeah,
end of the bargain.
yeah, he
Like,
did. He did. I will say that. But yeah, for
if he
sure.
wasn't as good as he was, that would have been a pretty
Yeah,
miserable, 15,
it,
20 minutes that match was.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it wouldn't have been as bad. But I see what they're doing. And that goes along with WWE cooking. Like WWE is cooking hot right now, and so needless to say, I think Logan Paul being added to that adds on to their popularity. Like right now, AEW doesn't come close, but for sure, like I said, Logan Paul, he's a scumbag, like Bruce said. But at the end of the day, you're not really there to like him as a person. You're there to see him perform as a performer. And I think
Yeah, and we want to see him get
you're
knocked out.
yeah, you want to see him get his ass whooped, like you do. Exactly. All right. Bruce, I want to thank you again for joining me again, and let's let's keep this going, man. Whenever you get a chance, of course.
Absolutely, man. Hey, man, you got
Yeah,
my
man.
number.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, that's XCAL here. Y'all have probably seen him on YouTube, and if you haven't, you need to check him out, obviously. But you're more on Twitch, is that correct, Bruce?
That'd be correct.
Okay.
I'm on
Yeah.
twitch.tv/xkelizors. That's with a 0.
There you go. Exactly how you see
There
it
it
right there
is.
on the screen now. All right, guys. All right, Bruce, don't go just yet, really quick. But everybody else, thank you guys for joining us. Please subscribe to our channel at Just Fans 22 on YouTube, and of course follow us on Instagram at Just Fans Pod, and of course on our X, whatever Elon Musk is calling it now, at Just Fans 22. Thank you, Toasted. Good stuff, gentlemen. Appreciate the comment. And that's going to be it for us tonight. We'll see y'all soon.
All right.
Peace.
Thanks for having me. Till next
Not a
time.
problem, brother. Till
Peace.
next time.